Hi, thank you for being here today. My name is Nicole Dahlfeld, and I am going to provide some information to you today in regards to emotional and physical abuse. Are you or were you in a violent interpersonal relationship? Would you know if you were or are in one? Did you know on average that 24 people per minute are victims of violence in an interpersonal relationship? Not many people realize that they're in a violent interpersonal relationship. And some do realize that they are, but their love for their partner makes them stay in the relationship in hopes that the violence will stop and they'll have a positive interpersonal relationship. Having a high level understanding of emotional and physical abuse and some of the warning signs for emotional and physical abuse will not only be beneficial for yourself, but also for your loved ones. First, today I will go over what emotional abuse is. Secondly, I will cover physical abuse. And lastly, I will go over some warning signs for both emotional and physical abuse. I will go ahead and I will start with emotional abuse. Emotional abuse, also known as verbal and psychological abuse, is oftentimes overlooked because there's no physical signs of the abuse. Emotional abuse is verbal, so it's yelling, name calling. One partner will put down another partner to have control over them, and the name calling will lower that victim's self-esteem, self-worth, so they feel like they're nothing or will have nothing if they leave their partner and get out of the violent interpersonal relationship. Another form of emotional abuse is economic abuse. This is where one partner controls all the finances, so the other person has no money and they're working, but they don't have any control of the money. Another form of it is that one partner won't even let the other partner work. So the victim doesn't get to work, doesn't have any money, and they're stuck in the relationship and they can't get out because they don't have any financial money to leave the relationship. Next, I will go over physical abuse. Not all violent interpersonal relationships start with emotional abuse. They could start with physical abuse, but more times than not, the emotional abuse will escalate to physical abuse. And physical abuse is devastating to a victim. It can also have a negative impact on children in the community. Physical abuse is basically one person hitting, kicking, slapping, choking another person that results in bruises, black eyes, broken bones, hospitalization, and the worst case could be death. Another form of physical abuse is withholding food from a person, not letting that person sleep, in reckless driving. If you are with your partner and they're mad and they're driving crazy and going fast around turns and driving on the other side of the road, that is a form of physical abuse. There's been shown to be a positive correlation between stress and physical abuse. When families are under stress, there's an uptick and increase in the physical abuse. Some of the stress factors would be, like parental stress would be women having children at a young age, lower income families where there's alcohol and drug abuse. Natural disasters can also cause stress in families and increase physical abuse. Those natural disasters would be like hurricanes. So then the family they don't have their house and they're stressed out, and that could also, then the physical violence in the interpersonal relationship would increase. An economic impact and as a result of physical abuse it's been shown to be that there's 32,000 full-time jobs lost full-time jobs in lost work each year as a result of physical abuse. It costs over $37 billion in law enforcement involvement, legal work, medical and mental treatment, and lost productivity of companies a year as a result of physical abuse. So now that I've given you a high level of physical abuse and emotional abuse, I'm going to provide you guys with some warning signs. Warning signs for emotional abuse, again, like I said, the warning signs are hard to detect, but if you have a friend who's confident and all of a sudden they have low self-esteem or low self-worth, this could be a potential sign of a physical, or emotional abuse. If you have a friend, a drastic shift in personality. They're extrovert and then all of a sudden they're introverts. Depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts could all be warning signs of emotional abuse. Physical abuse is a little bit easier to detect if you know what you're looking for. Injuries, where your friend or your family member or even yourself don't have any excuses for those injuries. You may be wearing different clothes, like long sleeves in the summertime, glasses, scarves, all to cover and hide bruises. So those are some of the warning signs. So, violence in interpersonal relationships does not discriminate. It doesn't care about your age, your gender, your race, your religion, or your sexual orientation. There is always a potential for violence in an interpersonal relationship. But with that potential, that should not stop you from creating and starting to build an interpersonal relationship with someone, as a positive interpersonal relationship can have love, happiness, understanding, and open communication. So with the information I provided you today in the warning signs, you know what is a positive and what is a negative interpersonal relationship. Thank you for your time.